With the particles set up, let's go ahead and take a final look at player, make sure we've got all the parts and pieces for them. If we click on the top one for player, let's go through this real fast. So the player itself has that box collider. Alright, actually we'll start from the very top. Alright, player. We have a name called player, we have a tag called player. Transform is at 0, 0, 0. Just double check yourself, make sure everything's set up right before we go forward with this. We have a box collider on it. We want the is trigger. We want to go ahead and set it. I'll make another note of this when we get to the triggering state for it. Go down to the rigid body. Rigid body has use gravity turned off and is kinematic turned on. Okay. Particles. Particle system should look similar to this, where you have a particle just kind of going just on the outside. Now, we don't want particles to be running the whole time. So down on emissions right here, go ahead and just turn emissions off, uncheck it. Alright. We'll go to chick. Inside of chick, we have the basic setup pieces here. We do want to add a couple of things to it once we start in with the animation side, and we'll do that next. There's going to be the animator, and we'll put an animator on it, and then start also scripting with an animation controller. So those are all the parts and pieces that we need to make sure everything's set up just right. If you are creating it from scratch, then you want to make sure you really double check yourself at this stage. If you're using the prefab, which is right here, if you're using the prefab, that one's already come set up, so if you just drag and drop them into your hierarchy, you'll be ready to actually just start using it from that stage. Alright, so if this is the player you're going to use, the one you created, let's go ahead and left click and drag player over here to prefab. So I'm just going to drop the player into the root of prefab, so that way it gives us a prefab to work with for our player right there. And then the one thing just to keep in mind is if you make changes here, we'll wind up doing a prefab where it says apply. We can apply the changes to this one, so if we need to drag him into another scene, then he'll come with all the changes that we've done for him. Alright, so that's going to be the basic setup for the character, setup for the prefab. The next step will be working on animations.